The battlefield was silent now, but it was not peace. It was the kind of silence that came only after destruction. Broken ships floated like dead giants in the black sea of space. Pieces of metal, fire, and smoke drifted everywhere. Once there had been shouting, explosions, and screams, but now there was only the echo of what had happened. Captain Ray Carter moved slowly through the wreckage. His small shuttle had landed on the broken side of a ruined battleship. His boots made heavy sounds as he walked across twisted steel. His helmet light cut through the smoke. He was looking for survivors, but he did not expect to find any. His orders were simple: search, recover data, and leave. Ray had fought many battles. He had seen many deaths. His face was calm, but his heart carried scars that no one could see. He told himself he would not feel anything tonight. He would do his duty and go. But then he heard it. At first it was only a faint sound, like a slow, broken breath. He stopped. He listened again. Yes, it was there. A metallic kind of breathing, heavy and uneven. Not the sound of a man, not the sound of a normal machine either. Something in between. Ray raised his rifle. His finger was ready on the trigger. Carefully, he followed the sound deeper into the wreck. Flames burned on the walls. Sparks fell like dying stars. His light found a dark corner, blocked by fallen steel beams. And there, under the wreckage, he saw her. It was a woman, but not fully. Her body was part human, part machine. Her arms were made of steel and wires. Her chest was broken open, showing damaged circuits. One of her eyes was still human, tired and full of pain. The other eye glowed red, weak but alive. Ray froze. He had heard stories of the old war cyborgs. Half-human, half-machine soldiers created long ago, then abandoned when the war ended. Most of them were destroyed. The rest disappeared into history. Yet here in front of him was one, alive but barely. Her voice was soft, broken, like metal grinding against stone. "Help me." Ray's orders were clear. No survivors. His commander had warned him. If he found enemy machines, he was to destroy them. They could not be trusted. They carried danger. They carried secrets. But Ray looked at her human eye and he hesitated. She was not only machine. She was something else. She was alive. "Why should I save you?" Ray asked, his voice low. Her breathing grew slower. Her voice was almost gone. "Because I am not finished yet." The silence around them felt heavier. Somewhere far off, the wreck groaned and shifted, like the dead ship itself was listening. Ray dropped his rifle and began to move the steel beams. They were heavy, burning hot from the fire, but he pushed until his gloves turned black. Finally, he pulled her free. Her body was broken, wires sparking, but her eye looked at him with something strange. Not anger, not fear, but hope. He carried her across the wreckage. Each step felt slower. His scanner beeped suddenly. Red dots appeared on the screen. Enemy drones. They were close. Ray stopped. He looked at the cyborg in his arms. Saving her meant trouble. The drones would follow the heat of her core. If he left her, maybe they would not see him. If he carried her, he risked his life, she whispered again, her voice softer than the fire. "They will come for me." Ray clenched his teeth. He thought of leaving her just for a moment. But something inside him refused. He remembered the war, the faces of the wounded he could not save. He remembered his promise to himself, never again leave someone behind. He carried her faster, back to his shuttle. His helmet light showed the broken path. The drones were closer now. Their red eyes blinked in the smoke. Their wings buzzed like angry insects. Ray reached his shuttle, opened the door, and pulled her inside. The door closed just as the first drone appeared, scanning the wreckage with a red beam. Inside the shuttle, Ray placed her on the seat. She looked small now, weak, almost human again. Her eye met his, and for the first time she spoke a full sentence. "My name is Ilara." Ray stared at her, surprised. "Ilara." Outside, the sound of drones grew louder. The shuttle shook as they scanned the hull. Ray grabbed the controls. His heart was racing. He had not only broken his orders, he had chosen a stranger, a machine woman from the past. But he did not regret it. He started the engines. Fire burst from the thrusters. The shuttle rose, carrying both man and cyborg into the black sky of space. Behind them, the wreckage burned. Ahead of them, danger waited. Ray looked once more at Ilara. Her eye was closing, her voice fading, but her last words made his heart stop. "They will never let me go." The shuttle vanished into the dark. The shuttle shook as it escaped the burning wreck. Captain Ray Carter kept his eyes on the black space ahead. His hands gripped the controls tightly. Behind him, the battlefield still glowed with fire. Enemy drones searched the wreckage, but his engines had carried him out in time. Beside him, the cyborg lay weak and broken. Sparks flickered from the metal in her chest. Her breathing was slow, heavy, almost mechanical. She looked like she could stop working at any moment. Ray had questions. Too many questions. But he waited. He kept the shuttle on course, away from the danger. Only when the radar showed no pursuit did he turn to her. "Who are you?" His voice was steady, but his mind was full of suspicion. Her human eye opened slowly. The red machine eye glowed faintly. She stared at him for a long time, as if deciding whether to answer. Finally, she spoke. "My name is Ilara." The way she said it, the way her voice cracked, it sounded like more than just a name. It sounded like a memory from another life. Ray frowned. "Ilara, that doesn't explain why you were there, why the drones were after you. What are you?" She gave a small, bitter laugh, though it sounded more like a cough. "What am I?" "That is a question I have asked myself for many years." Ray studied her. Her face was pale, still human. But her arms and half her body were made of old cybernetics. Wires running under her skin, plates of steel where bone should be. She looked like something from another war, another time. He remembered his orders. No survivors. He had broken them. And now, sitting beside him was proof of his disobedience. Ilara closed her eye again. For a moment, Ray thought she had gone silent forever, but then she spoke, her voice softer. "I was once a soldier like you. Human. Flesh and blood. But they rebuilt me, piece by piece, until I was no longer human enough, and no longer machine enough, just something in between, a tool, a weapon." Her words made the shuttle feel colder. Ray had heard rumors of such projects. Humans changed into machines during the old wars, soldiers who never aged, who never slept, who fought until their bodies broke. Most had been destroyed when peace came. Some had been hunted down. None were trusted. Ray kept his voice hard. "Why should I believe you?" Her eye opened again, staring at him with a strange sadness. "You should not. Trust is dangerous. For you, for me." Silence filled the shuttle for a moment. The stars outside looked calm, but Ray knew calm never lasted. The scanner beeped again. A faint signal appeared on the screen. Not drones this time. Something bigger, a ship. It was searching, scanning the area they had just escaped. Ilara's voice grew sharper, urgent. "They are looking for me." "They will not stop." Ray turned to her. "Why? What do you have that they want?" Her lips pressed into a thin line. She did not answer. Not yet. Ray leaned closer. His eyes narrowed. "If you're carrying something dangerous, I need to know. I saved you. Don't make me regret it." Her voice dropped to a whisper. "Dangerous? Yes, for them, for everyone. But for you, it might be salvation." Ray didn't like riddles, but there was no time to argue. He set a new course away from the scanners toward an abandoned moon he knew, a place where they could hide, at least for a while. As the shuttle moved through the dark, Ilara shifted slightly in her seat. She winced as sparks came from her chest. Ray reached for the repair kit. His hands worked quickly, sealing wires, patching broken circuits. "You fix machines?" she asked weakly. Ray gave a dry smile. "I fix what I can. Soldiers don't get to choose what they know. Survival teaches everything." Ilara watched him in silence. For a moment, the coldness in her eye softened. "You risked your life for me," she said. "Why?" Ray didn't answer right away. He tightened one last wire and pulled his hand back. His eyes stayed on hers. "Because you asked for help," he finally said. "And I couldn't walk away." Her lips curved into the smallest smile, sad and tired. "Then you are already different from the others." "Most would have left me to die." Ray said nothing. He didn't want to admit that part of him had thought about it. The shuttle entered orbit around the abandoned moon. Its surface was gray, broken, full of old craters. Perfect for hiding. Ray landed in the shadow of a tall cliff. The engines powered down. For now they were safe. Inside, the silence returned. Ilara closed her eye again, breathing slower. Ray sat back, staring at her. She was a mystery, a survivor from a forgotten war, hunted by enemies he did not yet understand. But one thing was clear. By saving her, he had stepped into a story bigger than himself. Ilara's voice broke the silence once more. This time it was barely a whisper, almost like a confession. They will not stop until they have me. You should let me go, Ray Carter. If you keep me, you will lose everything. Ray leaned forward, his eyes steady. Then let them come. The cold moonlight fell on the shuttle. The stars outside looked calm, but both of them knew. Calm never lasted long. The abandoned moon was quiet, too quiet. Captain Ray Carter's shuttle sat in the shadow of a crater wall, hidden from the scanners above. The engines were off. Only the soft hum of the life support system filled the small cabin. Ray sat in the pilot's chair, his rifle across his lap. His eyes stayed sharp, watching the radar. One mistake, one signal, and the enemy would find them. Behind him, Alara rested against the seat, her body half machine, half woman, still broken. Sparks sometimes flickered from the metal along her arms. Her human eyes stayed half closed, but Ray knew she was awake. Finally, she spoke. They will not stop searching. Ray didn't turn. Then we stay quiet. Wait for them to pass. Alara shook her head slowly. No, you don't understand. They are not searching for survivors. They are searching for me. Her words made Ray's hand tighten on the rifle. He turned now, his voice low but sharp. Why you? What are you carrying? Her lips pressed together. She looked away as if fighting herself. Then finally she whispered, I hold something inside me. Something they lost. Something they fear. Ray leaned closer. What is it? Alara's eye met his. A map, hidden in my memory core. A map to a lost human colony, a place untouched by war, a place that could save your people. Ray froze. His mind raced. A lost colony? He had heard the rumors. Outposts that vanished during the early wars, cut off from Earth, never found again. If such a place existed, it could mean resources, weapons, maybe even hope. But hope was dangerous. Hope made people reckless. Why do you have it? Ray asked, her voice turned bitter. Because they built me to carry secrets. They filled my memory with codes, maps, weapons. I was their machine, their tool. They thought I would never break free. Her eyes softened now, the sadness returning. But I broke free, and I ran. That is why they hunt me. Not because I am old. Not because I am broken. But because inside me is a key they cannot allow to fall into human hands. Ray sat back, silent. He tried to read her face. Was she telling the truth? Or was this another trick, another trap? But something in her eye, the human part, felt real. The radar beeped suddenly. A red signal appeared. A drone, then another. Then more. Ray cursed under his breath. They're sweeping the moon. Alara's voice grew sharp. They've found us. You must leave, Ray glared at her. Leave you? After everything I've risked? Not happening. The radar filled with red dots now. Drones moving closer like a swarm of wasps. The hum of their wings echoed faintly outside the shuttle. Ray jumped to the controls. The engines roared to life. The shuttle lifted off the crater floor. Dust rose in a storm as they climbed into the thin atmosphere. The first drone appeared ahead, its red eye glowing. Ray pulled the trigger on the weapons system. A burst of fire cut through the darkness and the drone exploded in a ball of sparks. But more were coming. Alara sat forward, her machine arm sparking, but her eye fierce. Let me help, Ray shot her a look. You can barely stand. Her voice turned cold, strong. I was built for war, Captain. Do not forget that. Before he could stop her, Alara connected her broken arm to the shuttle's console. Sparks flew, but then the screens lit up with new power. The targeting system moved faster, sharper. Ray's eyes widened. You're inside the system. Her voice came through the speakers now, steady, commanding. I am the system. The drones swarmed. But this time the shuttle moved like lightning. Weapons fired with perfect aim. One by one the drones fell, burning in silence as their pieces drifted into the void. Ray fought the controls, but Alara guided the ship with precision. Together, man and machine, they tore through the swarm, but the fight was not easy. A drone clipped the wing. The shuttle shook violently. Alarm screamed. Ray's hands tightened. We can't take much more of this. Alara's eye glowed brighter. Trust me. Her words were calm, but her body was breaking. Sparks poured from her chest. Circuits burned. But she kept fighting, guiding the shuttle with a will stronger than steel. Finally, the last drone exploded. The radar cleared. Silence returned, broken only by the sound of damaged engines. Ray pulled the shuttle out of the moon's orbit, breathing hard. Sweat ran down his face. He looked at Alara. Her eye dimmed, her head lowering, her voice soft. You see now why they hunt me. Ray stared at her, his mind heavy with questions. She was dangerous. She carried secrets that could change everything. Saving her might mean saving humanity or destroying it. But as he looked at her broken body, her human eye still holding life, he knew one thing. He could not abandon her. He leaned closer, his voice low. If what you say is true, Alara, then you're not just a survivor. You're the most important person in the galaxy. Her lips curved into a weak, tired smile. Important? No, I am just a ghost of war. But you, Captain, you are different. That is why I chose to trust you. Ray sat back, staring at the stars ahead. His heart pounded with a strange mix of fear and hope. He had broken every order, risked everything, and now carried a secret that could decide the future of his people. And he knew this was only the beginning. The shuttle drifted through silent space, engines weak but still alive. Captain Ray Carter sat at the controls, his eyes scanning the fading lights of the radar. The drones were gone for now. The battle had left scars on the ship and scars on him, but the real damage sat behind him. Alara leaned against the cabin wall, her head lowered, her body broken in more ways than one. Sparks hissed softly from her chest. Her metal arm hung limp, useless until repaired. Her human eyes stared into the darkness outside, as if searching for something she had lost long ago. Ray moved from the pilot's seat, grabbed the repair kit and crouched beside her. You need fixing before the system burns out. Alara gave a small, tired laugh. It was sharp, almost bitter. You talk like I am just a machine. Ray opened the kit, pulling out tools and wires. His voice stayed calm. You have metal parts. That makes you a machine. But you also bleed. That makes you human. I'm not sure what word fits, so I'll just say, Alara. For the first time since he had found her, she smiled. Not fully, but enough to soften the hardness in her face. Ray worked carefully, connecting wires, sealing circuits. His hands were steady, but inside he felt uneasy. He was a soldier, not a healer. He was used to destroying machines, not repairing them. Yet here he was, piecing together someone who was both. As he worked, Alara's voice broke the silence. I remember. Once I had a family. Ray stopped for a moment, his eyes lifting to hers. A family? Her voice was quiet, almost fragile. Yes, long ago, before the war, before they remade me. A mother, a father, even a little brother. I remember their faces sometimes. But the more I fight, the more I forget. Now when I try to see them, all I see is smoke and fire. Her words cut deep, sharper than any weapon. Ray knew that kind of pain. He had seen families destroyed, homes burned, people lost forever. He nodded slowly. War takes everything, even memories. Alara's human eye filled with a strange sadness. Do you ever wonder, Captain, what kind of man you would be if the war had not touched you? Ray didn't answer right away. He finished sealing the wires, then sat back, his voice low. Sometimes, but I stopped asking long ago. The man I might have been doesn't matter. Only the man I am now, and who is that? She asked. Ray looked at her, his face calm but his eyes heavy. A man who saves people, even when it's against orders. The silence stretched between them. Outside, the stars drifted past, bright and cold. Inside, something warmer began to grow. A fragile bond between soldier and cyborg, built not on trust alone, but on something deeper. Ray stood and moved back to the pilot's chair. He set the shuttle on course toward a nearby abandoned station. It was risky, but they needed supplies. Alara leaned her head back, her voice softer now. You saved me, but I fear I will be the reason you die. Ray glanced at her, his jaw tightening. Maybe, but I've lived with death at my side for years. If it comes for me now, at least it will mean I chose something worth dying for. Her eye met his, glowing faintly in the dim light. You should not speak like that. It makes me feel human again. Ray didn't smile, but something in his chest shifted. He turned back to the stars. Hours passed in quiet. The shuttle glided toward the abandoned station, its broken frame barely holding together. Alara slept, or at least seemed to. Ray watched her sometimes, not sure what he felt. She was a machine, yes, but her words carried weight, her pain was real. When the station finally appeared ahead, a giant shadow against the stars, Ray prepared for docking. The structure was old, broken, forgotten by most travelers. Perfect for hiding, the shuttle connected with a shutter. Air hissed as the docking locks engaged. Ray grabbed his rifle, ready to clear the path. Alara's voice came softly from behind him. I will come too. Ray shook his head. You're too weak, her tone sharpened. Weak or not, I will not be left behind again. Ray met her gaze. He saw not just stubbornness, but fear, the fear of abandonment. He nodded slowly. Then stay close. They moved into the station together. The halls were dark, covered in dust, echoes of old battles. Ray's rifle stayed high, his eyes sharp. Ilara walked beside him, her steps heavy but steady. For the first time, Ray realized something strange. Walking with her didn't feel like walking with a machine. It felt like walking with a partner. In the silence of the ruined station, a thought whispered through his mind. A thought he tried to push away but could not. Can a soldier's heart still belong to someone who is more steel than flesh? He shook the thought off quickly, focusing on the shadows ahead. Danger always waited in the dark, but deep inside something had already changed. The abandoned station creaked as if it were alive. Dust floated in the air, catching the faint glow of Ray's helmet light. The place smelled of rust, oil, and old battles. Ray's boots echoed on the steel floor, while Ilara's heavier steps followed close behind. They moved carefully through the corridors, searching for supplies. The station had once been a refueling post, but now it was just a skeleton in space forgotten by most. Yet Ray knew nothing stayed forgotten forever. Stay close, he muttered, his rifle raised. Ilara walked at his side, her eye glowing faintly in the dark. Her body was weak, but her voice held a sharp edge. I feel them. They are not far. Ray stopped, his muscles tense. Drones? She shook her head slowly. More than drones, hunters. Ray didn't ask how she knew. Some part of her machine core must still be connected to frequencies he couldn't hear. He only tightened his grip on the rifle. They reached the main storage bay. Shelves were broken, containers scattered, but Ray found what he needed: fuel cells, rations, repair tools. He began packing quickly, his eyes always checking the shadows. Then the sound came. A faint hum at first, like distant thunder, then closer, sharper, the hum of engines. Ray froze. His helmet scanner lit up with red. They've found us, he whispered. Ilara's body stiffened. We must run now. The station shuddered as enemy ships docked. Heavy boots thundered through the halls. Not drones this time, soldiers. Flesh and metal, same as Ilara, built for war but loyal to the enemy. Ray and Ilara ran, their footsteps echoing. The bay lights flickered red as alarms screamed. Blaster fire tore through the walls. Ray turned, firing back. One soldier fell, sparks bursting from his chest. But more came, their glowing eyes cutting through the smoke. Ilara raised her broken arm. Wires sparked as she forced power into her weapon systems. A blast of blue energy shot out, knocking two soldiers to the floor. Her body shook with the effort, but she kept moving. They raced down the corridors, turning sharp corners, fire and sparks raining around them. Where are we going? Ray shouted. Ilara's voice was steady despite her weakness. To the core. If I connect there, I can block their signals for a short time. Ray nodded and pushed forward. The station groaned as if it were dying. The sounds of pursuit grew louder. At last, they reached the core chamber. A giant machine stood silent in the center, once the heart of the station. Ilara stumbled toward it, connecting her arm to the port. Sparks flew as she forced herself into the system. Her eye glowed brighter. Her voice became layered, part human, part machine. I can stop them. But only for moments. Ray fired at the door as enemy soldiers closed in. The blast shook the room. He reloaded, his jaw tight. Make it count, Ilara screamed, not in pain but in power. The station lights flickered, then turned white. The sound of enemy voices outside fell silent. The soldiers froze, their systems locked. Ray lowered his rifle slightly, breathing hard. You did it, but Ilara's voice was strained. Not enough. They know I am here. Their command ship is coming. Ray felt his stomach tighten. A command ship meant hundreds of soldiers, drones, weapons beyond his reach. His shuttle would never outrun it. Ilara, he said, his voice hard. What aren't you telling me? Why do they want you so badly? Her head lowered. She disconnected from the core, her body shaking. She met his eyes with something close to shame. Because inside me is not only a map, it is a code. A code that can shut down their fleet. I was made to carry it, but I never used it. If they capture me, they will destroy it. If you protect me, humanity might survive. Ray stared at her. The truth weighed heavy. She wasn't just valuable, she was everything. Alarms blared again. The enemy had broken free of her hold. Blaster fire shook the chamber. Ray pulled her close. Then we fight! Ilara's eye glowed fierce. Together, They ran once more, blasting through soldiers, their bodies moving as one. Ray's aim was sharp, his rifle never missing. Ilara's damaged systems burned with every shot, but she fought like a storm, blue energy lighting the halls. They reached the shuttle, the station crumbling around them. Engines roared to life as Ray slammed the controls. The shuttle broke free just as the command ship entered orbit, its shadow massive against the stars. Ray pushed the thrusters to their limit. The shuttle shook violently, alarms screaming, but it tore through the dark. Behind them, the enemy fleet loomed larger than anything Ray had ever seen. A storm of fire lit up the void, chasing them into the endless night. Ilara gripped the console, her voice low but steady. "Now you see, Captain, saving me means saving humanity, but it also means making yourself their greatest enemy." Ray's eyes stayed fixed on the stars ahead. His jaw was set, his voice sharp. "Then let them come." The shuttle vanished into the black, chased by shadows of war. The shuttle shook violently as enemy fire lit up the stars. Captain Ray Carter pulled at the controls with all his strength, forcing the small craft through a storm of plasma blasts. The command ship loomed behind them, a black monster with hundreds of glowing eyes. Drones poured out of its belly, chasing like a swarm of hungry predators. The alarm screamed. The hull groaned. Sparks flew across the cockpit. Ray gritted his teeth. "We can't outrun them. The engines won't last." Ilara stood behind him, her body sparking with every movement. Her human eye burned with fierce determination. "Then we do not run. We fight." Ray turned sharply.
"Fight against that?"
He pointed at the massive warship filling the radar. "That's suicide." Ilara stepped forward, her voice steady but cold. "Not suicide, sacrifice. If I connect with their systems, I can trigger the code. I can shut them down." Ray's heart sank. He understood what she meant. To connect meant to give herself completely, to burn out her systems, to destroy herself. "No," he said firmly. "Not an option." Her lips pressed into a hard line. "Captain, you don't understand. This is why I exist. This is why they made me. My life ended long ago. I am only a weapon carrying a key." Ray's jaw tightened. He slammed his fist against the console. "No, you're more than a weapon. You're Ilara, you're alive. That means something." For the first time, her face softened. Her human eye glistened, almost like a tear. "You should not speak like that. It makes me forget I am a machine." Before Ray could answer, the shuttle shook again. A drone slammed into the hull. The cabin filled with smoke. Warning lights flashed red. Ray coughed and grabbed his rifle. "We're not dying in this ship. Come on." They raced into the back of the shuttle. The docking hatch shook under pressure. Drones cut through the metal, sparks raining down. Ray aimed, ready to fire the moment the hatch burst. The hatch exploded open. 3 drones stormed in, red eyes glowing. Ray fired, his shots perfect, dropping one then another. The third rushed forward. Ilara stepped into its path. Her broken arm crackled with energy and she blasted it apart. But the fight was not over. More drones swarmed outside. Their claws tore at the shuttle like vultures ripping at a corpse. Ray turned to Ilara. "We can't hold this forever." She stared back, calm in the chaos. "Then you must let me do what I was made for." Ray shook his head. "I already told you," her voice cut sharp. "Ray, look at me," he met her eye. For a moment, the battlefield around them fell silent. Only her voice filled his ears. "You saved me from the wreckage. You gave me more life than I thought I had, but now I can give something back. If I connect with their command ship, I can shut it all down. The drones, the fleet, everything." Ray's chest tightened. "And you? What happens to you?" She gave a sad, small smile. "Then I will finally rest." The words hit him harder than any weapon. He wanted to refuse. He wanted to fight forever. But deep down, he knew she was right. This was their only chance. The shuttle rocked again. Time was running out. Ray's voice broke, but he forced the words out. "If you're going to do this, then I'm with you. We do it together." Ilara's eye widened. "Together?" "Together," Ray repeated firmly. They rushed to the cockpit. Ray set the shuttle on a collision course with the command ship. The engines screamed as they pushed forward, racing straight into the jaws of the enemy. Drones tried to block them, but Ray's hands were steady. He fired, dodged, weaved through the storm. Ilara fed what power she had left into the weapons, her blasts tearing the drones apart. The command ship grew larger, filling the entire view. Its weapons lit up, preparing to crush them. Ray shouted over the noise. "Tell me what to do." Ilara's body sparked violently. She pressed her hand to the console. When we reach their hull, I will connect. You must hold them back until the code runs. Ray nodded, his throat tight. You better come back, Ilara. She gave him one last look, soft and human. You already gave me more life than I deserved. The shuttle slammed into the side of the command ship. The impact shook every bone in Ray's body. Metal screamed. Alarms howled. But they were inside. Ilara staggered to the console, connecting wires from her body into the enemy system. Her eye glowed blinding red, brighter than ever before. Her voice echoed, layered, powerful. I am Ilara. I am no longer your weapon. I am your end. The drones froze mid-air. The command ship's lights flickered. One by one, systems shut down. Engines died. Weapons silenced. The entire fleet, a monster of war, fell quiet in the void. Ray stood beside her, firing at the few drones still resisting. His heart pounded as he watched her glow brighter, her body burning from within. Ilara, he shouted. Stay with me. Her voice came softer now, fading. It is done, Ray. They are finished. Her body slumped forward. Sparks died. The glow faded. Ray caught her before she fell. The battlefield outside was silent now. The enemy fleet powerless, dead in the water. But in his arms, Ilara's body was still. Her human eye closed. Ray's chest ached, his throat burning. For the first time in years, a soldier's heart broke on the battlefield. The war was not over, but this battle was won, and the price was Ilara. Silence filled the battlefield. The enemy fleet floated dead in the void, their lights gone, their weapons silent. For the first time in years, the stars looked peaceful. But inside the wrecked shuttle, peace felt far away. Captain Ray Carter sat on the floor, his back against the broken console. In his arms lay Ilara, her body cold metal and fading sparks. Her human eye was closed, her machine glow extinguished. She had given everything. Ray's hands trembled as he touched her face. Don't you dare leave me now, he whispered. His voice cracked, a soldier's voice breaking for the first time. We won. You can't just stop here. Not now. The cabin stayed quiet. The only sound was his own breathing, heavy and uneven. He pressed his forehead to hers, feeling nothing but the chill of steel. His chest ached with something deeper than pain. For so long, Ray had lived as a soldier, moving from one battle to the next, never stopping long enough to feel. He had saved people, lost people, but always kept his heart locked away. Yet this broken cyborg, half human, half machine, had torn those walls down, and now she was gone. Or so he thought. A faint sound whispered through the console, a flicker of static like a dying signal. Ray lifted his head sharply. Ilara's chest sparked once, then again. Her eye opened slightly, weak but alive. Her voice came broken like metal grinding on stone. Ray, why? Are you crying? Ray laughed bitterly through his tears. Because you scared the hell out of me. Her lips curved into the faintest smile. I told you I would bring your death. Ray shook his head firmly. No, you brought me back to life. Ilara's body was too weak to move, but her eye stayed locked on his. I cannot stay like this. My systems, they are burned out. My core is fading. I will not survive long. Ray clenched his fists. He wanted to scream, to fight the universe itself, but he forced his voice steady. Then I'll carry you. I'll keep you alive no matter what it takes. Her voice grew softer, almost a whisper. Ray, you already gave me more than I ever had. You saw me, not as weapon, not as machine, but as Ilara. Ray's throat tightened. He wanted to deny it, to promise her forever, but the truth hung heavy. She was fading, and no tool, no soldier's skill could stop it. Yet even in her final moments, she reached for him. Her metal fingers brushed his hand. Cold but still hers. You rescued me from the wreckage, she whispered. But I rescued your heart. Ray's eyes stung. He squeezed her hand, holding on as if he could keep her from slipping away. And I'll never forget it. Not as long as I live. Outside, the battlefield remained silent. Ships that once threatened the galaxy now drifted powerless. A graveyard in the stars. Humanity would rise again because of what Ilara had done. But for Ray, the victory felt hollow. He had saved the future, yes, but he had lost something more. He sat there for hours, holding her still form until the rescue beacon he had sent finally answered. A human ship appeared, scanning the wreckage. Friendly voices called through the comms. Captain Carter, do you read? We see the enemy fleet disabled. How did you do this? Ray looked down at Alara's face. He pressed a hand gently to her cold cheek. Then he answered, I didn't do it. She did. They pulled him from the wreckage, carrying him back to the safety of human lines. Ilara's body came to, wrapped in silence, treated not as a machine but as a fallen hero. News spread fast. A single soldier and a forgotten cyborg had stopped the enemy fleet. Whispers turned to stories, and stories grew into legends. Across human colonies, people spoke of Ilara, the ghost of war who gave her life to save them all. Ray never corrected them. He never told them the full truth that she was not gone completely, because late at night when the stars were clear, he sometimes heard her voice in the static of the comms, soft and distant. Ray, are you still there? He would close his eyes, a faint smile touching his lips, and whisper back into the silence. I'm here, Ilara. Always. The war continued, but everything was different now. Humanity had hope again. And Ray had something more than orders, more than duty. He had a memory, a bond that no battle could erase. In the end, steel had broken, circuits had burned, but the heart remained. Not just hers, his too. And as the stars stretched endless before him, Ray knew one truth. She had rescued far more than a soldier. She had rescued the man he thought he had lost long ago,